In this video, I will be generating a SSL certificate for my TrueNAS Scale server using Cloudflare and Let's Encrypt. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page, and that's because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video, and I will leave the URL in the description down below. And for this video, we already need to have the basic network configuration on the TrueNAS Scale server. For example, in my case, if I go to my TrueNAS Scale server and then go to network, here you can see my network configuration. So I have a static IP address. I did set the host name and also the domain. And as you can see, I'm accessing my TrueNAS Scale using the fully qualified domain name. So it's the host name plus the domain name. And as you can see in my case, I'm still using the not secure connection because it's still using the self-signed certificate. And this is what we'll be fixing in this video. So we need the basic network configuration. We need to have DNS records on our local DNS server so we can access the NAS server using fully qualified domain name. And then we need a Cloudflare account with our domain added. And here you can see all the steps that I will be performing in this video to generate the certificate using Cloudflare and Let's Encrypt. And also here you can see all the values that I will be using for this video. Anyways, first I need to add an email address to my root user on the TrueNAS Scale server. And so that I don't make any mistakes and also make this video faster, I will just select this value that I have in here and I will copy it. Then I will go to my TrueNAS server, and in here to find the root user, we need to go to credentials, users, and then click on root in here. Next, we need to click edit, and here for the email, I will enter the value from the GitHub page. And that's basically it. Now we need to save it. And that's the first step done. Next, I need to generate Cloudflare API token and also give it the correct permissions. So for that, I will go to Cloudflare and I will use the link that I have in here. I will log in. And then in here, we need to select our domain. Scroll down a bit, click on Get Your API Token. In here, I will click on Create Token. Then I will use the template for Edit Zone DNS. And because we are using a template, we already have a single permission. So we have Zone, DNS, and with permissions to edit. Now we need to add another one. We need to add Zone, and Read. So I will click on Add, select Zone, and then in here we once again need to find Zone and then give it read permissions. And that's all the permissions that I need to give this token for my TrueNAS server to be able to generate the SSL certificate. Here you can configure more options, like you can change the token name, also limit this token so that it will be able to generate certificates only for a single domain. For example, if we select include specific zone and then set it to the domain that we want. And to make it more secure, you can configure IP address filtering so that the token is available only from specific IP addresses. And here you can also configure the expiry time so that this token is available for a certain time. And I will not be configuring any of this because I will be removing this token before uploading this video. Anyways, now we can click on Continue to Summary and then Create Token. And here we can see our token. Now you can copy it and also you should save it because you can use the same token for generating SSL certificates for other services like a Proxmox server. Anyways, now that we have the token, the next part is to configure the ACME DNS Authenticator. Now to do that, we need to go to the TrueNAS server, go to Credentials, Certificates, and this is the area where we need to configure it. So I will click on the Add button in here. For the name, I will enter ACME, and then for the authenticators, I will leave it at Cloudflare, and then we need to provide the API token that we got from the Cloudflare. So I will enter it and click on the Save button. And that's it for this step. Next, I need to configure certificate signing request. So I will click on Add. Here we need to provide the name. Once again, I will just copy the name from the GitHub page. And it seems that I made a typo in here, so I will enter L and then provide the value in here. So I will name it Let's Encrypt -CSR. Then let's click on Next, Next. Now in here we need to provide the information where we can see the star near the title. So for the country, I will select my country, so it's Lithuania. And then for everything else, I will be entering the values once again that I have here in my GitHub page. But as you can see, for the state, I will be entering home, and for locality, I will enter lab, and then for the organization, I will just enter my domain name, because this will be my home lab setup. And if you want to use it in a production environment, you should enter your correct values. Anyways, let's go back to the TrueNAS server. So for state, like I said, I will enter home, locality lab, and then organization will be my subdomain. So it will be lan.z1 network. And then we need to provide the email. So it's me@lan.z1.network. And now I will be providing the fully qualified domain name for the certificate that I want to generate. So for me, it's this value right here that you can see in the URL. It's scale04 dot and then lan.z1.network. Once again, I will click next, next, and that's basically it. So I will click on the save button. And now that we have the request configured, we can use it to generate the SSL certificate. And to do that, I will click on the wrench right here. This gives us another menu. Here I will enter Let's Encrypt. For the identifier, I will agree with the license terms. And then for the ACME directory, I will select production environment. And then we need to select our domain. I mean the DNS Authenticator that we configured in here. So I will select ACME and click on Save. And now we need to wait a bit. And that's it. Now we have our certificate. You can see it in here. Here, the first one is the self-signed certificate that is currently being used. And then we have our new certificate that is from Let's Encrypt. And the last step is to configure my TrueNAS server to use the new certificate instead of the old one. And for that, I will go to System, General Settings. Then here in GUI, I will click on Settings. Here we can see GUI SSL certificate, and it's currently using the TrueNAS default. So I'll change it to Let's Encrypt. Next, I will also configure so that all the HTTP traffic is redirected to the HTTPS. So I'll click on this checkbox, click on Save, and then I will click on Continue in here. And now we need to wait a bit. Also, we need to select Confirm in here and Continue. And as you can see, after a few seconds, the web server restarted. And here we have our sign-in screen, so I will log in. And as you can see, now we have no error message in here. If I click on this, click on Secure Connection, and then we can see that the certificate is valid and that it was generated using Let's Encrypt. And that's basically it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and see you in the next one.